So you're thinking of moving to the US but you don't know what to expect? This video will be for you. Hi everyone, my name is Meiling. If you have subscribed to my channel, you know that I like to make videos sharing my experience living in the US as a Cambodian immigrant. But I think almost all of my previous videos were in Khmer. As of now on, I would like to try something new. I would like to make some English video mixing with Khmer videos, and I want to see how that goes. Because to be honest, it's a little hard for me when I make Khmer video. It's not that my Khmer is not good or anything like that. My Khmer is fluent. I have no issues speaking Khmer. It's just when it comes to sitting in front of the camera, trying to express myself in a professional way or like in a proper way, or just a way that you can understand me, it kind of takes me more time for the preparation, and I have to admit that it's harder to express myself when it comes to speaking Khmer. And I really think English is a better language when it comes to allowing you to express yourself fully. So I would like to make this video in English, but if you're new here, welcome. I like to make videos, like I mentioned, sharing my experience living in the US as a Cambodian immigrant. I've shared information regarding immigration stuff, so if you're interested, you can also comment and let me know things you want to know as an immigrant living in the US. But in today's video, I would like to share the important things that you need to know if you're thinking of moving to the US. So the number one thing is US is a huge country, so where you move to matter. If you're from a small country like Cambodia, you would find US a really big country. It can be shocking how big it is and how different it can be between states. So before coming here, I knew US is a big country with so many states, but what I didn't know is how different it can be between those states. So things can be really different between states in terms of cost of living, weather, community, and culture. For example, I've been living in California since moving to the US, and it's been nice with a big Asian community. But one thing about California is that cost of living is insanely high. So if you talk about rent, gas, taxes, or many other expenses, California is much more expensive compared to other states. Meanwhile, California has a really good weather, so you don't experience heavy snow here, and winter doesn't get that cold and summer doesn't really get that hot either. So that is one of the reasons why a lot of people want to live in California, which make everything else more expensive. And another good thing about California too, it's very diverse. If you're like me, coming from an Asian country, you would want to see a good Asian community, because then you have good Asian food and many familiar things that you would like to get access to. So California is really good when it comes to that. You would have so many options, many food options, many things to do, a lot of entertainment stuff to do. So compared to other states, this can be something that other states lack. So I would suggest, if you are thinking of moving to the US, do your research and know what's important for you. If you're looking for a good Asian community, or if you're looking for a good cost of living, or if you're looking for, you know, good weather and all that stuff. So do your research. Number two is the work culture is really different. So I came from Cambodia. I'm not sure where you're from, but if you are from a country that have a more laid back work culture, US is not for you, because everyone works fast. When I first came here, it was almost shocking for me how fast people work. Like, it's really quick. I'm not really sure if it's California thing or it's the US thing, but so far from most of the states or area that I've been to, everyone works fast and everyone works hard. So for example, I used to be an English teacher in Cambodia, and I only used to work for like 3-4 hours a day, and coming here I've had to work for like 10 hours a day. So for example, my job right now, I work 9 hours a day. I do get every other Friday off, which is great, but I still think I work a lot more compared to when I was in Cambodia. And then the working pace again is really fast. You can't work slow, I feel like, because everyone around you is like, they work fast and they work hard, and you have to adjust to that. So I would say be ready if you are moving to the US, because you have to work a lot faster and work a lot harder. I think it kind of makes sense, because if you think of cost of living here, it's kind of a lot higher than many Asian countries, so you would have to work harder in order to afford to live in such a country. Number three is you'll be away from everything that you're familiar with. Moving to a new country can be exciting, but it can also bring having anxiety at the same time. If you're moving out here with a family, I don't think it would be that hard. At least you have your family who are close and they are around you, they are with you in this situation. But if you're moving here alone, I would think it would take more time for you to adjust, and especially you may feel lonely sometimes, and it will be a little different because for the first few weeks or months, you're probably not gonna get to make a lot of friends and you'll be by yourself and you'll have to spend your time adjusting to the new environment. If you're from a country that don't speak English, then it would take you some time to learn the language or just to get used to the culture here, and it's just a lot of other things that you need to get used to. So I think if you're here by yourself, brace yourself. You might feel a little lonely, or you might feel like you want to give up or frustrated that you want to go back, but I think it just needs time for you to adjust, to be used to it. And my tips for you would be to think of your goal, your long-term goals, of the reason why you move here at first place. I think a lot of us want to move here just to hope that we will have a better life, which was the reason why I moved here. I would say my first year here was really hard for me as well. It took me so long to get used to the environment here. My tips for you would be try to make more friends, try to go out, try to explore, try to look at the positive side, because US is a big country. Whichever state you're moving to, there will be things for you to do that is different from your country. Number 4 is transportation is not always convenient. In Cambodia, it was really easy to get around. Like I could hop on a tuk-tuk. It's a motor taxi that I can just call from anywhere and then just go around the city easily. But in the US, depends on which state you go to, transportation can be a little tough. You might have to drive in order to go around because some public transportation is not that good. For example, California doesn't have that good public transportation. If you depend on public transportation to go around, you would have to be ready for the delay or for the long travel time. And honestly, I think if you live in California or a lot of the states, for example like Texas, Florida, most of those states, I feel like it's hard for you to depend on the public transportation, and you would have to get a driver license and you would have to drive to go around, unless you live in a big city like New York or Chicago. No, I mean even those states, like only if you live in downtown. So if you live in downtown area, you might be able to go around with just metro or bus, but it's still, I don't think it's that good here compared to other public transportation that I know in Asian countries. So be ready for that. If you don't know how to drive yet, I would suggest try to learn how to drive. At least you know how to drive, and then coming here you would just need to adjust to how people drive. Number 5 is services are really expensive. If you're from an Asian country like I am, it would be a lot cheaper to get a haircut, a manicure, pedicure, but over here it is so much more expensive. So in Cambodia I can get manicure, pedicure for like $10, but coming here you can't expect $10 to do anything for you. If you want a manicure, I think right now the average is like 30 or 35, and the pedicure would be around the same, like 30, 25 or 30. I don't know because I haven't done manicure or pedicure for years because of how expensive it is. And on top of that, you would have to tip. So tip is mandatory here. You're expected to tip at least like 15, 18 or even 20% if you are having any services. So even when you go out to eat at a restaurant, you are expected to tip if you get a haircut, if you get a manicure, pedicure, if you get a massage, and many other things, you name it. As long as it's a service, you would have to tip. So be ready for that. If you're not a tipping person, you might have to do a lot of things by yourself. For example, doing your own haircut, or you would have to cook at home, not going out to eat as much, and do many other things by yourself. Number 6 is taxes can be really confusing. To be honest, I've been here 6 years. I still don't know how many types of taxes out there. I am not interested in learning either, but you would have to at least keep that in mind that there are so many types of taxes. Things that you see at the market or like the price that you see when you shop, it's not the final price. There will be sales tax on top of that, and sales tax, it depends on which state you are at. Some of the states have higher sales tax. For example, California, we have higher sales tax, so most of the things that we shop here tend to cost more expensive than other states. So keep that in mind. Also, there's also income taxes. So different states also have different income income taxes. Again, California also have the high income tax that you would have to pay. So everything about California is just expensive. So that's why you would have to do research where you want to live. You would have to look at all those taxes, how many percentage that you have to pay. So that is like what you need to look at when it comes to cost of living. Compared to other states, for example, Texas, they don't have any income tax, but they have higher property tax. If you own a house, you would have to also pay property tax. So there are a lot of taxes that you have to watch out for, and you have to file your tax every year. If you fail to do that, you might get a penalty. So keep in mind, there are a lot of taxes and be ready. Number 7 is that you must have insurance. So before coming here, I didn't know about this, but living here, you are required to have health insurance, and if you drive, you are required to have your car insurance, and then even if you own a house, you are required to have an insurance for the house as well. So it's just a lot of things that you have to be mindful of, you have to pay attention to, that things can be required that you don't know, and if you fail to do it, if you don't have it, you might get penalty. So there's just a lot of things that you need to research and know. And I think the good tip is asking around, asking the locals here what they do when you move here. Try to form a community and get to know the environment, get to know the people, and then at the same time you try to ask them around, because sometimes it's not always as straightforward as it is. So of all these things, it's not that I learned from Google or ChatGPT. I mean, you can, these days you can ask ChatGPT. It's really useful for you to find out information, but when it comes to like knowing all this stuff, I think talking to locals can probably be more helpful because they know more. And then the last thing you need to know is making friends here takes time. So because we are from a different culture, it can be really different here. I have to say, even after 6 years here, I still find it hard sometimes to have a conversation with the locals here, because it differs on what topic they talk about and things that you can relate to. So they can talk about something that they can all relate to, and they all start laughing when you find like what is going on and you don't find it funny, or sometimes you find things funny and they don't. So it's just a little harder to try to be closer to people who grow up here. I just feel like it's a little harder to form a closer relationship with people here compared to when you do that at your own country with the people who you grow up with, like in the same community. So I would suggest be ready for that. It will take time, but if you're extroverted, I don't think that will be much of an issue. Compared to me, I'm more introverted. It's harder for me to make friends. And then if you're a fan of small talk, I think US is a country for you. If you're not a fan of small talk, like I'm not a fan of small talk, so it's really hard for me because like a lot of small talks here. Every day you go to work, you have a small talk with your coworkers. Sometimes even at the grocery, you can have a small talk there. So it's good that there are a lot of small talks, like you can make friends that way, but it's just if you are like me, if you're more introverted, I think it will be a little tough for you. But again, there are a lot of good people here, very friendly people, so I think it will be okay. It just takes time. So I know there are a lot more things to cover when it comes to moving to a new country, especially a big country like US, but I think most of the things that I mentioned are at least what you need to know or need to be aware of, just the general stuff before you make the move, so then you know what you are getting into and be better prepared for it. So if you're watching this, let me know in the comment, what do you think? Are you moving to a new country soon? Are you moving to the US? And or if you have just moved to the US and you're trying to adjust yourself, let me know in the comment. Share your experience with me and also with other people who are also watching. And if you are already my subscribers, thank you again for watching this video. I know this is a big change that I used to make video in Khmer, and now I'm making a video in English. And let me know in the comment as well what you think. And for my new watchers, you know what to do. If you like this video, like and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in the next video.